Ray Korn was Utah State's head gymnastics coach for 31 years, leading the transition from club level to NCAA status while compiling a regular season record of 389 wins and 284 losses. He led the Aggies to the postseason 26 times, including 5 trips to the Nationals. He won 4 Big West Conference titles, coached 3 All-Americans and 3 Olympians, and was a 6-time Conference Coach of the Year. By the time he retired in 2008, 32 of his gymnasts had been named Academic All-Americans.
I came to Utah State, did not know that I had previously known Marilyn Weiss, met Liddell Anderson and Jerry Sherritt, and they basically told me, we can't pay you a whole lot of money, but we're going to do everything possible to get you to win. And that was it. That was the deciding factor. I always wanted to get my master's degree and work towards that political science and possibly pre-law, and go to school at the same time as coaching. Then I discovered that was not going to work. And then our first meet was here at home, was against Southern Illinois, who was finished 3rd in the nation the year before. They even, I don't know if you remember the name of Dale Bublitz, but took a picture of their DC-3 flying into the valley, Southern Illinois. I'm even out there watching, I'm going, oh boy, I'm really over my head. These guys got airplanes. And we beat them. And Monday morning, I said, this is it. I dropped all my classes. I really hadn't registered in any of them. I was kind of figuring out which ones to take and things like that for the next fall. And I said, nah, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. There really wasn't any gymnastics in the Valley at that time, and so I felt like I had to create a fan base. And not that I really wanted to, but I started Logan School of Gymnastics to get to the little kids. The little kids got to mom and dad. And that's what came into the spectrum. We'd have Jerry Olson in the stands. He was a clown. He was making things with balloons. We had indoor fireworks. We turned the lights out. We had smoke, and certainly Tim Monsell helped me with all of that. He and I would just kind of conjure up some different ideas and put them together and try and bring it into the spectrum and promote the sport of gymnastics. And, annually we were we were always in the top 5 for the single attended largest meet, and usually in the top 5 or 6 for the attendance average. I think that my athletes knew when they were coming that they were going to work hard, practice were hard, a lot of discipline imposed, but I would like to also think that there was a great deal of fun in the gym. We learned how to laugh with each other, learned how to laugh at each other. I think that that was a way of bringing some great athletes together and making them bond as a team. The early athletes, the Alicia Johnsons, Debbie Petersons, the Jody Mabs, we would take anybody on. If you wanted to come to Utah State, we'll play you. If you want to invite us to wherever you want to go, we'll play you. And that's the support that I had from the athletic department. When Penn State invited us to play them, compete against them at Penn State, we jumped all over it. I never realized how hard it was to get to Penn State, okay? In terms of air flights, et cetera, and I was so young, I was messing up transfers and did not get the right van. We ended up with a Pittsburgh Steeler party van, okay? And you sat on the sides, and the van smelled absolutely horrible. I know that they'll remember this. Well, when we got there and we had just enough time to go to sleep and then wake up, do a little bit of training, compete, and we competed 24 routines and we missed 22 out of the 24. Debbie Peterson and Juanita Lynch miraculously hit floor and we came in 1st and 2nd. When that was over with, I immediately went over to their coaches, pulled out my scheduling book. I said, I have to do this again. Please, will you invite us next year? We went back and arguably, we're the first team to beat Penn State at Penn State the very next year. And I will never forget that. By starting the program, in its infancy, and it's the infancy of women's athletics nationwide. It was like your child. And it just kept growing and growing up and growing up and growing up. I just couldn't leave it. And then certainly when I met my wife, Shelley, and we had our first and second child, that kind of just put it right there and said, no, we're here for the duration. I forget the year, but we won the NCAA Academic Award for gymnastics for the highest team GPA. I was extremely proud of that. Watching Barbara Zoll walk up and receive at the National Championships that she qualified to individually as our NCAA Woman of the Year. And watching her in the same year receive all the awards that she won at the Robbins Award, the Athlete of the Year and Woman of the Year also. There's a lot of them. And yet by the same token, you know, when I can remember sitting in a meeting with the entire staff, that was probably my second staff meeting, and Liddell walks by and pulls on my very, very long hair and says, Ray, do I need to give you some money for a haircut? I said, no, sir. Actually, I have an appointment this afternoon, which was a total lie. But I got a haircut that afternoon, and to walking off of the conference meet in my last meet of my career, it was like a blink of an eye.